Good everyone, and welcome to Charles Analytics. So last week I traded gold all through, and I took 3 trades on my FundedNext challenge account, and they were all counter trend trades. Now, if you recall, last 2 weeks gold sold to a daily support, and if there's anything I know about gold is that gold reacts aggressively to higher time frame key levels. So what I wanted to do last week with respect to price actions at that daily support was just to capitalize on those bounces off the daily support, right? But each time I tried to take those buys, price came back to my stop loss. So I traded on Monday, on Thursday, and Friday, and they were all losing trades. So I'm currently down by 3%, but overall I'm still up at currently I'm at 50,300 and something. So what I'll do now is just take you to my FundedNext account, then straight to my TradingView account, where I'll show you the thought process behind all the trades that I took. So come with me as I go to my FundedNext account. So this is my FundedNext account. As you can see, my balance as of now is 50,382. Let me click on dashboard so that I'll get to see more details regarding to the account. Well, there isn't much to see, so I'll just take you to the trades that I took last week. Let's go to trading overview. The trades I took last week. So yeah, the trades I took last week, and this is the first one. This was on the 18th, which is Monday. So I had a loss, minus 490 on the 21st, which is I think on the Thursday. I had another loss, minus 483. Then on a Friday I had another loss, 357. This was still a running trade, but I didn't want to hold the trade over the week, so I just had to close it, right? So these are the 3 losses. So let's go straight to the chart so that I'll show you my thought process behind all these trades. I'm going to use the replay button, right? So that I will talk on the individual trades, right? Okay, let me take this out. Beautiful. All right, so this was a Monday, right? Now, as you know, last 2 weeks the market broke out of this range here. The market broke out of this range, right, and rallied downward. I remember entering after the breakout, and I was able to make 2% from this move, right? The market sold to a daily support. Let me show you. Yeah, so the market sold to this support here, this one here, the price formed a double bottom before it rallied previously, right? It sold to that point. So my thought process, I know overall that the market is bearish, right? If you look at the chart, you went to see a series of lower lows and lower highs. You know, it's a low, there's a high, there's a low, there's a low. So overall, the market is actually bearish. But I was just looking for a short-term buy because the market rallied to a daily support, and I was seeing signs of exhaustion at that support on 4 hours time frame. And let me show you good, so you can see how the candle closed. You can see the rejection or the reaction at that support, and you can see this next 4 hours candle. So when I saw that, I decided to take a counter trend trade, right? Let me delete this. So I simply wanted to just take a counter trend trade to, let's say, 0.5 Fibonacci level, something to this box. I wanted to take a buy, a short-term buy to this point or to this zone. That was the plan. but price had other plans. So let me show you my entry confirmation. I think I executed this trade on 1 hour, right? I executed this trade when price broke above this high here. Yes, that was it. So it was just a simple trade. On a higher time frame, price has already shown me that this daily support was holding. I waited to see. I remember I marked out this level when I was looking at the market on Monday to see if price will break out of that place, and price did break out of that level with a strong bullish momentum candle here. So I simply just wanted to, like I said, take a short-term buy up to this level here around 0.786 Fibonacci level. But price, let me play it forward so that you see that level held, and you can see what happened. Price came straight to my stop loss. Let's see. My stop loss was a little bit, yes, at that week. I think at this moment I was already out of this trade. Like, that's already triggered my stop loss. Okay, here, there. So this was where price took me out. This was the first trade. So the thought process was this. I trade a very simple system. I always like to trade in the direction of the higher time frame buyers. So from what I showed you, last week's price sold to daily support on our 4 hours, and on the daily we can see reaction there on that support one. Then secondly, the 4 hours gave us a momentum candle at that support. So I just wanted to trade a correction. I know overall the market is bearish, but I wanted to catch a short term buy before market will align bearish and start selling. But market decided to do something else, right? So that was the first trade I took on a Monday. On Tuesday I didn't trade. On Wednesday I didn't trade. Let me take this one forward. On Tuesday I didn't take. On Monday I didn't take a trade. Let me change this to 4 hours so it'll be faster. Wait, let me adjust this so it's a bit slow. I don't like to. Okay. So you see what happened here. So this is our 4 hours time frame. You can see that this support held, right? I took buys all through, and all the buys were just price wasn't just ready to buy. So it's the price still held at this level, and for 4, 8, 12 hours price was rallying. Let me go to 1 hour so that I'll show you something. Price took out this previous high on the 1 hour time frame. Price took out this previous high, right? So I was seeing signs of bullish trend. So I had a simple plan. My plan was for price to give me a higher low around this area, then I'll buy to this resistance. Simple plan, right? So let's see what happened. Okay, boom. Good. So this was my confirmation here. So we saw an impulsive move high, we saw a correction. Then if you move closely, if I zoom in closely, you notice something. A support was formed here. Oh, sorry about that. You can see this level here. Right? So that level held, and I saw a bullish 1 hour candle. So simple plan. I just wanted 2% back to this previous resistance here. Back to this previous resistance, right? But you see what happened. Price went straight to my stop loss again. This was on a Thursday, right? And I think that was the only trade I took on Thursday. The next trade was Friday. This was 1 hour, right? Yes, I think this was my next trade. So price came back to this 4 hour support. This 4 hour support here. Then on the 1 hour, I saw this bullish engulfing candle. I saw this potential, this flag pattern here. So I was just expecting same. I was just targeting 2% at this previous resistance and all. You can see how the 4 hours candle closed. It closed with a very good hammer candlestick here. You know, there were more buying activities within that 4 hours period. So I took a buy, envisaging that momentum will continue to drive price higher to this region here, to this resistance where I'll exit. Simple plan yet again. Let's see what happened. So this is where price currently is. Like I said, I closed this trade. I manually closed it because this was on a Friday. I didn't want to hold the trade over the weekend. So you can see what happened. So this is trading basically. Now this is where a lot of traders break, right? I've been trading this market for years, and I've seen these kind of things play out over and over again. I've had winning streak, losing streak, and one thing has brought me out of all this: my ability to execute my trade without fear. Now I've had 3 losses, right? But my job is not to carry the emotions from these losses to the next trade, right? The market is going to open in some hours. I'm going to look at the market on Monday if there'll be opportunity. If I see my system on the chart, I'm going to execute irrespective of what has happened last week. Now, trading is a numbers game. You need to understand that trading is a numbers game. Now, let me show you something on the chart. Let me go down so that I'll show you something. Now this is trading basically. Where's my text tool? Yes, this is trading basically. Let me show you something. Now let's assume that at the end of a particular week you're up 5%. But this is how you may potentially arrive at 5%. You won't necessarily get there by experiencing all wins. Win. No, not necessarily. This is how your sample space will look like. It will be loss, win, break even, win, loss, break even, loss, win, break even, win, loss, win, equal to 5. This is reality. So you're up 5%, but this is how you got there. I remember at a stage in my journey, I'll write something like this on the board and I'll start to meditate on it. Like, I was training my mind to accept this reality, because when you go online, you hardly see the so-called mentors show you the journey, right? You just see the post when they make profits, and when the account is at experiencing losing streak and all that, they don't show you those things, right? But this is the reality. Now, let's say you trade a system that has a risk to reward of, let's say, 1:2. Now listen, I just had 3 losses, right? But this is the reality. This week, if I just need one trade that will hit 1:2 or 1:3 to either cancel 2 of the 3 losses or cancel all the losses. Do you get my point? Trading is a numbers game. No matter what happens in the market, your job is to come every day, every week, every month and execute your trade without fear, without considering what has happened in the past. Just execute as you see it. Don't try to want to see the future with each trade. Now you see your setup and you're either overanalyzing, even when you know that there's confirmation already on the chart. You're either overanalyzing, or you're just scared of executing your trade. You know what makes the difference is your ability to always come to the chart and execute your trade irrespective of what has happened. You've experienced winning streak, execute the next trade. You've experienced winning streak, execute the next trade. Losing streak, raging equity curve, execute the next trade. Like I said, I've been trading for years. I've seen this kind of things happen over and over and over again, and my only job is to come to the market, analyze the market, wait for my setup and execute without considering what will happen next. Even if this week, let's say I'm down by 3%, if I hit another loss, that's 4 losses. Let's say I hit another loss, that's 5 losses. I just need 2 trades to clear all these losses. That's the reality of trading. But if you do not execute your next trade, your edge will not play out in your favor, right? Because now you're trying to zoom into every setup, asking yourself, will this setup play out or will it not play out? My brother, there's no way you can know if the setup will play out. Your job is to execute your trade, and as long as you continue to execute your trade, your edge will definitely play out in the long run. So that's about it for now. Let me show you something that I'm looking out for. Now, if you notice what gold has been doing for some time, you know, gold has been acting funny. Gold will do an impulsive move and go to range. You see this range here? And let me use this other tool. So range, break out of the range, range again, break out of the range, then another range, break out of the range. You see what gold has been doing? Then another range. You see the sideways movement. Break out of the range, then another range. So the price action on gold has been crazy, to be honest. So what I'm going to do moving into next week, I think I'm just going to patiently wait to see what gold will do. Either gold will break out of this range and sell to this daily support here, or maybe price will come here, tap back to this place, or from here back. But I'm just going to be very, very patient with gold, because gold has not been trending the way I want. You know, it will do an impulsive move, it will go into a ranging phase, a little impulsive move, it will go into a ranging phase. So the market price action hasn't really been all that, you know. So like I said, going into next week, I'm going to be very patient to wait to see if gold will break out of the range. So that's about it for now. Next week I will give you an update of how my trade went for this week, and that's that. But one thing that I will never do is to be fearful. One thing I will never do is to hesitate when I see my setup. Nah, no matter what has happened previously, I always come to the market and execute my edge. And I know as long as I do that, my edge will definitely play out in the long run. Thank you very much for staying till this time. See you next week, and God bless you.